As the sun sets, the coffin lids rise, and the creatures of the night awake. We greet you. This is the Mourning Show. Because we have lives, this week is the mini Mourning Show, where you will hear the latest news and music. But first, to see what the night shall bring, we go to our local lunatic, Morgan Le Fay. So, what's the foreshadowing forecast, Morgan?
The lunar phase for tonight, Saturday the 26th of July, is a new moon. The moon is in the zodiac sign of Cancer.
Ah, Cancer, that's terrible. So, we shall go to the noose. The morning noose. Yet another Gothic couple has been attacked. The incident took place outside the McCall's newsagents in Mercy Square, Stockport, at about 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday, July 15th. Two teenage Goths, a man and a woman, were brutally assaulted in an abhorrent attack by three teenage women. The Gothic man was punched and kicked 17 times, and the Gothic woman was punched in the head, before a Good Samaritan on a bike intervened and the attackers ran off. Police are now trying to establish where the incident, which has chilling echoes of the fatal assault of Sophie Lancaster in 2007, was a hate crime, and are urging people to come forward with information. Police want to speak to the two victims and the woman on the bicycle who intervened. PC Steve Watson said, "Until we have spoken to the two victims, we cannot be certain if this attack was a hate crime motivated by the subculture of the victims, but clearly we have to consider that as a factor. People who wish to express their cultural identity freely should not have to tolerate hate crime, and therefore I would strongly urge both victims to come forward so we can record their complaints and ensure those responsible are punished appropriately. Greater Manchester Police take all reports of hate crimes extremely seriously, and as has been covered extensively in the press, we are now recording crimes where alternative subcultures are targeted for their identity and distinctive clothing. It is totally abhorrent for anyone to be attacked because of a distinctive identity, and the level of violence the young boy was subject to, 17 blows in just 60 seconds, is an appalling indictment of the behavior of those responsible. He is lucky he was not seriously injured. So I would again urge the victims to please call us, and we will offer you whatever support you need." Sylvia Lancaster, the mother of Sophie, has also commented, "It's absolutely shocking. I would urge these two victims to come forward. The police need to deal it in the best way they can. If this was a hate crime, then I'd say these people have a right to be who they are, dress how they want. These people are not hurting anybody, and it's just down to pure ignorance on the side of the perpetrators. It's sad, very sad, and not necessary at all. It makes me realize how important our campaign work is. If you witnessed this, please come forward and just tell the truth at the end of the day, because we need to put an end to it, and we can't do that unless people report on it."
It's unfortunate to hear things like that happening in the...
You cut out at the word unfortunate. I still don't hear you. Hello? Speak. It's not... Morgan? Hello? Are you there? Did you accidentally mute yourself? Did you on purpose mute yourself? Am I hosting the show solo today? Do I have to call you on the phone? Hey, something must have happened to you. Oh, there's two of you now. Yeah, you can just talk.
Sorry about that. My computer was being weird. You totally froze up on me. But then I was looking at it, and it looked like I had disconnected from the internet temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? You can hear me again now, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
So where were we?
You need to comment on the attack.
Okay. That we live in a world where things like that are still happening.
Oh, whoa, I didn't catch the beginning of what you were saying. Hey, you said your husband is playing video games? Yeah?
I believe so.
I hope they're not using the internet.
I don't know.
Just wondering, because if it uses up too much of the internet, then this is going to be a problem, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, are are you connected to the internet wired or wireless?
Wirelessly.
If you can get wired, please do so. It might help. Because you do know how wireless internet works, right? It's not constantly connected. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it can work wirelessly. It's just you have to cross our fingers. Anyway, but no,
Mm-hmm.
start your comment all over again from the top.
Okay. It's unfortunate that things like that are still happening in the world.
Yes, yes, it is. Although, I mean, it's been happening as far back as I can remember. I mean, the West Memphis Three were persecuted for the way they looked in 1993, and then I've also seen videos from the 1970s of Goths being persecuted for the way we look. So it's been going on for a very long time, and it happens quite regularly, and it is sad. But I mean, instead of focusing on the sad part of the story, let's focus on actually the incredible news in this story, and that is
The
that the
Manchester police are finally doing something about it.
yes, you cut out by the way while saying that, so we didn't catch what you said. You said the blur police are fine to do something about it.
I'm sorry. So the Manchester police are finally doing something about it?
Yes, yes, that is incredible news because, of course, in the past, the police did absolutely nothing about this kind of stuff. You know, I mean, with the Sophie one, we're partly in luck right there in that the police actually caught the people and prosecuted them because in the past, you know, before that, the police weren't even going after these people, and sometimes the police were saying good that these people harmed us. In the case of the guy who murdered Brian Deneke, or Brian Denike. In the case of the person who murdered Brian Denike, the judge thanked the guy who killed Brian for getting rid of the town's quote unquote scum, and so the police were supporting these evil people in the past. And so the fact that now they're arresting them and that now they're starting to treat it as what it is, a hate crime and a horrible, abhorrent thing, is actually a truly incredible thing. It's a lot of progress. So it is very, very sad that these attacks are still happening. But I truly hope that these people who were attacked come forward and that they can help the Manchester police solve who did this, and that these people, who committed this hate crime can be locked up for the hate crime they committed. And so it is sad that's still happening, but at least it seems that we're moving forward and gain a little bit more justice these days.
We're all human beings. We should all try and get together and work things out the best we can.
And we shouldn't hate each other based on cultural differences.
Or the way we look.
Yeah. Next in the morning news, scientists explain why goths stay goths for life. By middle age, some punk rockers have retired their safety pins, and ravers have tossed their giant pants, but a lot of goths stay clad in black, reading sad poetry well past their 20s. Why do goths just carry on? Socialists can socialists. Whoops. Sociologists can Sociologists can explain. What happens when a teenage goth grows up, gets a job, takes on a mortgage, has a couple of children? Can you combine elaborate makeup and a corset with getting a toddler ready for nursery and yourself to work on time? Dr. Paul Hodgkinson, deputy head of Surrey University's sociology department and expert in subcultures, has been re-interviewing a group of goths he first studied in the late 1990s to find out they were teenagers and in their early 20s then, and I thought it would be interesting to go back because a number of people do stay involved in the goth scene, he explains. Though many people who belong to subcultures such as punk and rave tend to drift away in their 20s, Hodgkinson says it's more likely that older goths will want to remain involved in the scene. To outsiders, it's the visual markers of being a goth: long black hair, black clothing, pale faces, contrasted with dark, dramatic eye makeup that stand out. Taken on their own, these characteristics might be reasonably easy to cast off. However, Hodgkinson says that although the aesthetic and clothing are important, the primary tenets of involvement in the subculture mean being thoroughly passionate about gothic music and style, and goths would tell you they have an interest in the dark side of life and a natural tendency towards it. This means a level of commitment to the goth scene and friendship groups and identity that develop around being a goth, which result in social lives that are so intertwined that it would feel very odd to leave it, he says. Continuing with education and getting a decent job while staying involved isn't as hard for goths as it may be for those involved in other subcultures, some of which promote disengagement with school to the point that academic failure is all but unavoidable. It's a relatively intellectual subculture, so despite all the going out and being into the music, goths have always had a fairly positive view of people who are also achieving academically. It means goths may have better career options than an outsider might expect. Succeeding in their chosen career had, Hodgkinson observes, become increasingly important to those he interviewed as they moved into their late 20s and 30s. And he was surprised by how much participants in his study were willing to adapt their look to fit in at work. I even gave people scenarios where they couldn't wear certain things. I expected them to say that they'd have to leave their job, but they said that they would have to seriously consider the changes. Most of his sample said they were still recognized as goths at work, but had toned down their look. They retained a residual element of the appearance. Several of Hodgkinson's interviewees now had children, and he says that another sign of the importance of remaining involved despite their enormous life change is the appearance of websites discussing the issues facing Gothic families. More parents are bringing their babies to Goth festivals too, Hodgkinson says. So organizers have policies and provide facilities offering kids clubs and on-site child minding. That means that there is demand from more mature Goths. Hodgkinson says these individuals have found a way of growing up together and taking on various elements of adulthood, but doing so as a cohort of people who are passionate about the same thing and who support each other.
I totally agree with all of that. I am the goth of my firm that I work for, and it's not hard to tone myself down into a way that is business acceptable. I obviously can't have wildly colored hair, but I can definitely have it black. And I mean, I don't have to wear a corset, or if I do wear a corset to work, I can wear a blouse underneath it that hides the rest of my inappropriate parts.
Yeah, I find this story a very nice story, being as back in the late '90s, whenever he started to do the researches, there was a lot of weird panic going on. People who were trying to analyze us were trying to see how are they dangerous to our children, blah 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 blah. And this is a good story that shows that no, we are people. We have jobs. We have mortgage. We have children. And so it's just nice that a sociologist at a university is putting out documentation showing that no, we're just ordinary people. So that's good.
For me, it's never been a phase. It's always been just a portion of who I am. So,
So now we're going to skip Colley's one because that was pre-recorded, and now you can do your Lunasa one.
Okay. All right. Well, Lunasa, or as more modern pagans call it, Lammas, will be celebrated by the pagans in the Northern Hemisphere on or around August 1st. It's approximately halfway between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox, and is celebrated in Druidry as one of the 4 fire festivals of the year. The festival itself is named after the Celtic god Lugh. It's a harvest holiday, celebrating the time of the first fruits. And as a pagan, I, Morgan, will be camping out with a few of my friends who believe similarly to me.
So, tell me about the Celtic god Lugh. I've never actually heard of this Lugh.
Lugh is... You've heard the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none? Well, Lugh is the god who is kind of like the master of all things. He's famous in Celtic mythology for going to how do I put it? He showed up at a king's castle and tried to be let into the festivities, and the person at the door said, well, what arts are you skilled in? And he says, oh, well, I'm a skilled warrior. And the guy at the door says, oh, well, we have a skilled warrior. And he says, well, I am also a cupbearer. And he says, oh, well, we have a cupbearer. And they go on listing several other occupations and skills and things. And finally, Lugh says to him, well, do you have someone who is a master of all of these things, as I am? And then that's what gets him in. He's just a big inspiration in the in that particular pantheon of gods. I don't know. I I've always felt him as a presence in my life as a pagan, but that's just me personally.
And do most pagans go camping during Lunasa?
I don't know about in general. A lot of, I mean, um, obviously, as a pagan, you're going to be doing ritual of some kind, and being that paganism is a nature-based religion, and we have a lot of respect and reverie for the outside world, like the nature and the earth. A lot of people do um, find that certain something outside. Um, I know here in Salt Lake, where I am out of, there is usually um, a large pagan campout that is held every year annually. But I don't think that that is necessarily what is for everybody, because being religious of any kind is definitely a deeply personal thing.
Mhm. Yes, an expression of oneself and one's interactions with who they are in the world around them.
Definitely.
And in upcoming shows, the Pierre Murphy tour dates for this upcoming week are Tuesday, July 29th in Austin, Texas at the Belmont Theater, Wednesday, July 30th in Dallas, Texas at the Granada Theater, Thursday, July 31st in Houston, Texas at Scout Bar, Saturday, August 2nd in New Orleans, Louisiana at One-Eyed Jack's, and Sunday, August 3rd in Gainesville, Florida at High Dive.
There's also Project Pitchfork, which is being held in Königstein, Germany, on Saturday, August 2nd, at Festung Königstein. I don't speak German, so I'm sorry if I butchered that.
Königstein.
Königstein? Sorry.
Königstein. It's all right.
I have to admit, my German teacher when I was going to school was a really lousy German teacher. He would rather spend 5 minutes on teaching than the rest of the period discussing the girls' tennis team, which he coached with the girls on the tennis team that were in the class.
That's okay. Last week I totally butchered a bunch of Russian show dates, and my excuse was, well, I don't speak Russian.
Well, I ended up having to transfer out of that class because it was just too little of what I wanted to know. But anyway, moving on. Katya Murafa of the band Rasputina is going to be performing at the Salt City Steam Fest in Salt Lake City, Utah. The event in general will be Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd. I should probably get the actual day that she's playing.
No, that doesn't matter. Just tell us about the festival.
Oh, okay. Well, the Salt City Steam Fest is a steampunk event that's being held in downtown Salt Lake at, I believe it's at the Sheridan. It's an event where people will be dressed in Victorian garb. They will be observing more manners of the period, of the Victorian era. There will be a tea. There will be a modified Nerf weapon.
Are you giving up on the description, or did you die again?
I I think I'm giving up on the description.
Okay, give me a moment.
Okay.
I will describe it, even though I'm the least person that would be describing it. No,
Well,
it's fine. It's fine. I just need to get the website up.
yeah, that was what my problem was too. I didn't have the website up.
Oh no, it's perfectly fine. I mean, I could have done a little bit off my head, as it was, but yeah.
Well, you changed around what it said in the Google documents, so I was unsure of really what to say.
Well, you said what you were supposed to say, and then after that, you were just supposed to talk about
Describe it.
the event. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Yes, Salt Sea Steam Fest will have special guests Duex Vapors Machina, the god in the steam machine, taking heavy connotations from the Greek dramatical plot device whereby an unsolvable problem is suddenly and abruptly resolved by a contrived and extremely unexpected intervention of some new event, character, ability, or object. Duex Vapor Machina takes on the mantle of an ethereal apparition that catalogs characters, personas, and events encapsulating within the steampunk world. It will also feature Steampunk Boba Fett. Steampunk Boba Fett, John F. Strangeway, is one of the most recognized figures in both the steampunk and Star Wars fan communities. He had the idea for a steampunk variation for quite some time, but lacked the resources to build the suit to match his vision. That changed at Anarchro Con 2009, where he met Matt Silva of Penny Dreadful Productions. A few months later, PDP began work on the suit, which debuted at DragonCon 2009 to overwhelming acclaim. Also, it will have Kato, a little British immigrant that crash landed her airship somewhere over the United States in 2007, owner and designer of Steampunk Couture, the world's very first steampunk clothing company. Sarah Hunter, also known as Leigh Clankington. Sarah Hunter, also known as the infamous adventuress Leigh Clankington, is a steampunk personality and the proprietress of Leigh Clankington's Cabinet of Carnal Curiosities, makers of the world's first fully functional and commercially available steampunk adult novelty items. It'll also have Thomas Wilford, also known as Lord Featherstone, with degrees in physics, history, and art. It was perhaps unavoidable that Thomas Wilford, Lord Featherstone, would become a steampunk enthusiast. His work blurs the precarious line between art and engineering. If upon viewing a piece, one does not ask, does that actually work, he considers the piece a failure. Dr. Phineas Castle is a prominent member of the Las Vegas Steampunk Tea Society and the founder of the League of Extraordinary Professors. He is an accomplished international interior designer who has consulted on such projects as the Encore Hotel and Casino, Caesar's Palace, the RX Boiler Room, a steampunk-themed restaurant at Mandalay Bay, while also obtaining such credits as consulting for the Mahara in Bombay, for the Maharaja in Bombay, a Countess in Germany, among many more A-list celebrity clients. I'm not done. I just need to get to the next segment of that.
Okay. Well, the Salt City Steamfest is a steampunk convention that's located in Salt Lake City. It caters to neo-Victorian steampunk, goth, and 1800s reenactors in a collective experience that one will not soon forget. Adding the art of immersive roleplay, you have the interactive convention that allows you to leap in and out of action at one's will. Um, the convention has brought over 1,000 participants far and wide, as far as Germany, Canada, and Mexico. Moving up north, it's 2013 year to the Davis Conference Center, which is another city or another area in Utah that isn't Salt Lake. The traveling city found it was too far from its natural elements and have returned back to Salt Lake to maintain its standards of being a steampunk mecca within Utah's metro.
So now can I finish listing the performers?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Hope and Roland, an acrobatic duo. Sky Masters Wildlife Foundation, which will have many raptor birds of prey. Musical guests. I have to pause for the page to load. Music guests, as mentioned, Katya Marafa, and also the Bards and Nobles. It will include a Nerf war room. It will include a modified steampunk Nerf war room, a fashion show, an art show, a science fair, and a tea social, an auction, and other such events. So if you are one of the steampunk persuasion, you will be near Salt Lake City, we highly recommend you attend this festival. So that
Yay!
was, yeah. See, I read that. See, and
Yeah.
and you and Chloe thought that I wasn't going to allow that to be read. Of course I am. Anyway, don't worry. That
I'm
could say.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just not great at improvisation.
Oh no, that's clear. But anyway, let's finish. I have one more news story to read, and then we need to do the outros, and then I can take us off the air, and we can do a little chit chat. And I'm going to go and edit after that. Okay?
Okay.
Stop mousing your mouse. There you go.
All right. Again, I apologize.
Anyway. An early reminder to get your tickets. For the Alt Fest. It will be August 15th through the 17th in Northampton, UK, and it will feature Pierre Murphy, Fields of Nephilim, Front 242, Combi Christ, The Cult, DMV Nation, Alien Sex Fiend, and more. It's not to be missed. We will keep you updated on it.
The lineup looks incredible for that.
Yeah, it does. So anyway, so now we're going to do the sign-off, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You've just listened to The Mourning Show. Now we're going to go cry in a corner.
We're signing off.
Okay, there you go. So,
All right.
I'm going to stop the broadcast now.
Okay.